Since the first episode of Miss Marvel was released, there have been a lot of talks. Some of them are negative, but the majority are positive. However, one thing we know for sure is that the show has been great benefit to Marvel in terms of viewership and monetary profit. In this video, we'll be talking about how Marvel struck gold with this show. Stay tuned. First up, why the Muslim superhero benefits Marvel. When Marvel announced in 2013 that they were rethinking the comic book character of Miss Marvel, originally a blonde, superpowered military legend, as a Muslim Pakistani-American young person called Kamala Khan, it was regarded as a controversial and potentially dangerous suggestion. Despite this, the Miss Marvel comic books were displayed in the exhibition regardless. According to Dr. Mel Gibson, an academic administrator at Northumbria University and a comics researcher, Miss Marvel very quickly turned into a hit comic and probably the greatest seller on the internet. Even without a surprisingly realistic television show or film adaptation, Miss Marvel had managed to sell the majority of 1 million collections by the middle of 2018. Even though Kamala's religion and culture are never glossed over in the comics, these aspects of her personality are not representative of her in their entirety. She is a typical young person in the sense that she is typical, but she is also a superhero, and she is Muslim and Pakistani American. She handles dangerous situations at school as well as embarrassing wrecks. She has the hopes, ambitions, and pursuits that are unique to her. But the challenges, vulnerabilities, and impediments to her survival are things that a significant number of us can empathize with. Since its inception, the character has been a honey hole of viewership for Marvel. Now that we are done with that, it's time we talk about the information we have on Miss Marvel. So in this segment, we'll be talking about all the things you should know before watching Miss Marvel. Stay tuned. Next, we have Kamala Khan's backstory. The majority of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's characters are from New York. Thus, the fact that Kamala Khan is Pakistani American and lives in New Jersey provides a welcome change of scenery. Miss Marvel will act as Kamala's coming-of-age narrative, much in the same way as Spider-Man: Homecoming did for Peter Parker. Young heroes such as Kate Bishop and Yelena Belova, who debuted in Phase 4 and have since become the new faces of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, have gradually taken over the mantles of their mentors and close allies. Kamala is the newest member of this group of young heroes who are on the cusp of becoming more powerful and taking on greater challenges. I don't think comic book readers will find this surprising, as the comics for Miss Marvel have been out for a while. It is very clear that she is going to end up being a member of the Avengers, which is something I've not yet to come in terms with. Nonetheless, it has become clear that we are going to be seeing lots of new superheroes replace our dear old ones. I hope that everything turns out great, well, for us. And now, she's the first Muslim American superhero in the MCU. Kamala Khan is the first Muslim superhero to appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the comics, Kamala had a hard time juggling her cultural upbringing with the responsibilities of being an American teenager. It appears that this conflict will also play out in the show. For the past few years, Marvel Studios had been gradually increasing the diversity of its roster of superheroes by adding well-known characters like Black Panther and Shang-Chi. Miss Marvel's introduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe marks a significant advance in terms of representation, and we can only hope that this is only the beginning. Taking a look at this movie by Marvel, I must say that I'm very impressed, as different ethnicities and cultures will have something new to be proud of. We are going to be providing you with all the information we have about this new superhero, so spoiler alert, she idolizes Captain Marvel. Kamala Khan is a huge admirer of the Avengers, but Carol Danvers, also known as Captain Marvel, is the superhero whom she looks up to the most. After Kamala attained her superpowers, her adoration for Carol Danvers inspired the creation of her outfit, in which she integrated some of Captain Marvel's most recognizable hues, including red, blue, and gold. It's funny because Kamala epitomizes how real Marvel fans celebrate their favorite characters, since she creates fan fiction and wears t-shirts with superheroes on them. Heroes like Iron Man and Black Widow, despite their awesomeness, are not the easiest to relate to for the average person, but Kamala is, which makes her a superhero that young fans in particular can both look up to as an example and identify with on a personal level. I have carefully analyzed this superhero, and one thing I can say for sure about her is that she won't be a powerful figure. I think that, like Black Panther, she'll provide fans with a lot of entertainment. Also, because she isn't more special than any normal teenager, I think she'll score a lot of points with the younger generation. Next, her inhuman origin will be avoided. Although Kamala's origin as a superhero will be explored in the Disney Plus series, the show will diverge in a significant way from the comic books. In particular, comic book readers are aware that Miss Marvel is an Inhuman and that the activation of her Inhuman genes occurs after she is exposed to the Terrigen Mists. The events that followed led to Kamala eventually taking Carol Danvers' place as Miss Marvel. The rest, as they say, is history. Black Bolt did, however, make an appearance in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Despite this, the 2017 Inhumans show was not well received by critics. It's possible that this is the reason Marvel Studios decided to take Kamala's Inhuman origin out of Miss Marvel. Instead, the source of her power will be an heirloom passed down through the generations in the form of a magical bangle. This will serve to highlight Kamala's cultural heritage as well as her ancestry. While I'm in support of Marvel's decision to avoid her Inhuman origin, I don't think a magical bangle was any better. However, since fans do not have any issues with this special piece of jewelry, I don't think we should talk any more about it. I don't believe that this is what we have to compete with against DC fans. Pathetic! And now, some alterations were made to her abilities. At least according to the comics, Kamala possessed polymorph abilities that allowed her to elongate and shapeshift. Her signature move consisted of enlarging her arms, which was also one of her abilities. In contrast to what has been depicted in the Miss Marvel comics, it was shockingly revealed in the Miss Marvel trailer that Kamala would not demonstrate her powers from the original comic book. Kamala did not perform a polymorphic transformation. Rather, she manifested cosmic energy, much like Captain Marvel. This unanticipated change resulted in widespread fan outrage, and many Marvel fans believe that it was done to avoid overlapping with Mr. Fantastic, another body-altering superhero who is gradually entering the MCU. However, several Miss Marvel sneak peeks have shown Kamala performing her signature arm move. This indicates that the series will still adapt important comic book moments despite the revisions that have been made. While it would have been much cooler for her to have cosmic powers, it wouldn't be any fun if we had two superheroes with the same power. So it was a good decision to stick to her body-altering power. I guess it's still awesome. Let's discuss the characters who play supporting roles. The fact that Kamala Khan is still quite young makes it extra important for her family and friends to back her up and encourage her as she works to improve the world via the use of their abilities. For example, Bruno Carelli, Nakia Bahadir, and Kareem are three supporting characters who play an important role in Kamala's story. They each provide Kamala with either emotional support or the potential for romantic involvement in the future. There have been rumors circulating regarding the possibility of unexpected cameos from characters like Captain Marvel. Kamala's character arc and progress, along with the existing supporting cast, should be more than enough to make a wonderful show. Even though any guest would be entertaining, I've looked through the cast of the show and there wasn't really any spectacular character. However, it will be pretty amazing to have any number of the Avengers show up. On second thought, she might not be big enough to have caught the interest of the Avengers. And finally, we have Kamala's next venture. Iman Vellani is scheduled to reprise her breakthrough role as Kamala, or Miss Marvel, in the Marvels set to be released in 2023. This will occur regardless of what happens in the film Miss Marvel. She will co-star in the film with Tinoia Paris as Brie Larson, who plays Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. In light of the fact that Kamala has a history of being an avid fan of Captain Marvel, at some time in the future she may likely realize her desire of meeting her favorite superhero. And the recent movie news has dropped hints about this possibility. As a result of this development, Miss Marvel is essential to the process of establishing the events that will include the Marvels. Nevertheless, it is yet unknown what kinds of difficulties they will confront. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.